Chris, I wonder if maybe speak to, the blitz of the first half by GW, 52 in the first half, and then what you saw from your guys in the second half, certainly much, much more competitive.
Yeah, first half, again, felt like the game at the Robins Center. They were, now a couple guys made threes who aren't their best three-point shooters. Jones, I think, had 4 in the first half, and he was one that we were willing to not let him shoot, of course, but we were willing to have him shoot. He made, to his credit, made 4. I thought that, they were just very comfortable. They have good size, good talent, and just a little bit too comfortable. Even though we were trying some different things, whether it be on ball screens or our half-court defense, we just weren't able to. Make them uncomfortable enough. I thought in the second half we were much better, and as kind of said at the end of the game, wish we had a few more minutes to play because we were playing better, and had some guys in there really playing with a lot of grit and hustling. So that's great to see, a really positive sign, and but wish we could have started the game better. When you're on the road and you're playing a team this talented, this invested, you have to be ready, and you have to be better than checking the box. You have to be good just to be able to compete. That's the level this is, and we just weren't quite enough. And then we also had opportunities. I felt like to go shot for shot with them, and we had a layup, roll around twice from JD. We had one go in and out, so we weren't able to keep up with them shot for shot, and we weren't able to just introduce enough tension in their offensive game.
Coach, when you look at the job Mike did today, I know went out of the last game with the injury, but really gave you an awful lot, including the 14 rebounds, and was able to give you maybe more minutes than anyone expected today.
He really did. I thought Mike was. I tell you that from the end of the first half on, I thought he was great. In the beginning we had a turnover early that we really specifically talked about and how we wanted to do it, but. Right from when we went back in the game and the second half, I thought he was terrific. I think that's probably when he's a very good defensive rebounder. And that's not easy to do when Castro's the guy that you're responsible for. But he rebounded the ball defensively well. He did keep us moving once we started to get in a better rhythm in the second half. I thought he played a really, really good. Last 3 quarters of the game.
Yeah, from previous comments, I don't think that there was ever a worry in your head about Aiden stepping into the starting lineup and what that might have impacted him. The numbers are still the same, still 30-plus minutes. But did he ever run the floor well for you? No turnovers, 6 fouls drawn, which is a number that I really love to see next to his name. That's how many fouls he draws night in, night out. But the 14 points, and I thought he had a real solid effort for you running the point.
He did. Aiden, like we said, he's going to be a great player and already is very close to that, but just has command of what we're trying to do, of what he wants to do, and has a really good sense of what's going on out there, and is really, really so extremely helpful to us. So I thought he did great, and I thought Mikel, he had a turnover in the second half that was not a great one, but really had a good game also, was aggressive. So those 2 guys, that's important. We need we're small, and those guys are small, but we need contributions from everybody. And the biggest thing I think that Aiden and Will Johnston and Will Harper bring us is they're just very, very aggressive. They're very aggressive, pretty fearless, and they continue to go in there and battle, and that's really good for any team.
A couple times you went with, you talk about a really small lineup, 4 guards. Did you like what you saw there? What were some of the things about that? It certainly gives you a different dynamic.
Yeah, I think a little bit of it is we're putting guys in. We're trying to put out a fire a little bit. So not necessarily. I feel like we're at 4 guards almost all the time, but except probably when Jaden's in there and maybe when AP's in there at forward. But yeah, our size is a bit of an issue. But you can also, the things that can work to your advantage need to work to your advantage. If you're small and quick and you can get yourself good shots and be free and create turnovers, that's positive. You can't be small and then also not disrupt them. So, but yeah, I thought Jalen Robinson also, I thought he played a good game today. I thought, as I told him after that, it can't be that you need to find your motivation by just taking the court. And I feel like because he's such a good guy and he's trying to learn everything and do everything right, there's a little bit of him being somewhat passive, and we want him to be aggressive. He had a good post move for a basket. The next one he threw out for an open 3. And We need them to be aggressive and let all that athleticism out. AJ, the hard part with, for us is AJ and JD are dynamic scorers, and AJ a little bit more traditionally, and at this point consistently, but then there's also a little bit what goes with Richmond is sticking with your stuff. I remember the GW was so good when they were top 10 in the country, and we had a hard time up here, and then we won a lot of games in a row. And I remember, Ryan Butler making a big basket. They were double teaming Kevin Anderson, and Darian Brothers Young made a big basket. Francis Martell makes a big steal at the end of the game. That's with guys who know what you're doing, and they've been there before. They've, been in a losing locker room, and that's the hard part about the portal is we just, we're asking guys to trust what I know and what we know, but it's hard because they have their own instincts and their own things they're going to rely on. So we need to try to make that, that marriage come together more quickly and more seamlessly, and I think guys are working hard at that, but that is really a challenge.
Mike, really warrior-like effort by you today. How you feeling?
I feel all right. Obviously not the result any of us were hoping for, but GW is a great team. I thought the second half was as good of an effort as we probably could have put together, considering all the guys were down, just the injuries we faced. A lot to be happy about in the end of the second half, but personally coming back from a little bit of an ankle sprain, I felt good to get out there today.
What was your perspective on the first half? Obviously, you guys knew what they could do from a three-point perspective, and they blitzed again.
Sometimes it's hard to have a game plan for that. All you can make them do is take tough threes, and when the team is making tough threes, that's really hard to defend against. I mean, they're a great shooting team. That's all over our scout, all in red, bold, underlined, etc. Props to them for making their shots. I think we got to do a little bit better of a job pressuring them into driving, making different types of shots rather than, contested open threes, whatever it is. I think we can definitely see a lot on the film as we look at it.
Mike, to your point and Bob's earlier question, you guys could have felt sorry for yourselves after halftime, but you didn't. You came out and outplayed them, outscored them in the second half, did some things differently. What does that say for where you guys are, your mindset, and being able to fight through a tough game like this?
Yeah, we're a really resilient team, and like it's been said all season long, we're 11 to 12 deep. So when guys go down with injuries or whatever's happening around the team, we have guys that we can count on to step up and start, play big time minutes. We really fought last game against Rhode Island, both me and Jonathan down at the center position. So it's good that we have a lot of guys we can rely on to make plays. Obviously, flashes for all of us, me included, of really bad and really good. And I think we can really look at that on the film and say, you know what, there's a lot we can improve on, but let's be happy with the effort we put in the second half.
As the elder statesman, I ask you a little bit about the young guy on this team, getting his first college start in Argabright today. Obviously, he's had big games and played a lot of minutes for you guys, but handled his first college start without a blink in his eye and no turnovers. What were your thoughts on his job today and the way he helped guide you guys?
He's amazing. That's the most poised I've seen a freshman. I'm just thinking about myself as a freshman. I could not have imagined playing a single, meaningful minute. He's great. He's probably one of the best ball handlers we have on the team. I'm looking at 6 fouls drawn. That's about as Aiden Argabright of a stat as I can see. He's really good. I hope he's around the program for all 4 years, and is one of the guys that you come back and show your kids on the arena walls. So, I love the kid. I love his poise. I love his competitiveness, and I think he's been nothing but amazing stepping in today.
How'd you feel about your matchup with Rafael Castro? Two big guys going at it for 40 minutes.
Yeah. He's a great player, a very long, athletic big that is going to have undoubtedly many professional opportunities in whatever league he wants. And I thought I did a pretty good job making him take some tough shots, making him think about different sorts of ways to attack our defense. He only took 7 shots, which if you look at the box scores previously, he had a lot more than that and upper 20s in the points. So. Making other guys make shots. Unfortunately, that's what they did. They made tough shots. There's only so much you can do as a defense. But very, very competitive battle, very physical down there. I was happy to, play it.
No doubt. You did a great job with them in the 14 rebounds for sure. Last thought, Matt alluded to you as the veteran, the elder statesman of this team. What, if anything, do you have to say to these guys as you get ready for VCU Tuesday night?
I mean, this game really defines your season. There's a lot of teams that I've been on that have been great that have not been able to win at VCU. That is one of the few things on my checklist that I still have to get done. So I'm going to be bringing a lot of passion that's not very characteristic to my demeanor into this game. I think we just need to understand the urgency that VCU is a great team. They're always at the top of the league. It's always a game that people have circled on their calendars, and there just needs to be a different level, elevated level of physicality and attention to detail that the younger guys just simply have not seen yet because they haven't played at the Siegel Center. So really excited. Hope the game actually materializes and we're able to get down there. But yeah.
Well said. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Bob.